What if everything you've believed about confidence is completely wrong? What if confidence isn't something you're born with, but something you've been unknowingly destroying every single day? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you'll discover the mindset that separates ordinary people from those who walk into every room with unshakable confidence. Before we begin, answer this honestly in the comments. Do you believe in yourself when nobody else does? Type yes if you do. Most people spend their entire lives waiting to feel ready, waiting to become fearless, waiting for the perfect opportunity. But confidence has never belonged to those who wait. It belongs to those who move. The greatest lie your mind tells you is this: I'll act when I feel confident. The truth is exactly the opposite. You become confident because you acted. Every successful person you've ever admired once faced uncertainty. They doubted themselves, they made mistakes, they experienced rejection. The difference was not the absence of fear. It was the refusal to let fear make their decisions. Every time you avoid a challenge, your fear grows. Every time you face one, your confidence grows. Confidence is not magic. It is evidence, evidence created by action. Another trap destroys more dreams than failure ever could. Seeking approval. The moment your happiness depends on someone else's opinion, you give them control over your confidence. Some people will praise you. Others will criticize you. If your identity changes with every opinion, you will never become mentally strong. The strongest people build their confidence from character, not compliments. If this message is helping you unlock a stronger mindset, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. It helps more people develop mental strength, and you'll never miss future lessons like this. Listen carefully. Your mind is always listening to the conversations you have with yourself. If you repeatedly tell yourself you're weak, your actions will eventually agree. If you constantly repeat that you're capable, your behavior begins to change. Your identity is built one thought at a time. Guard your inner dialogue as carefully as you guard your reputation. Fear will never completely disappear. Even the strongest individuals experience uncertainty. The difference is that they no longer treat fear as an enemy. They treat it as a signal that growth is waiting on the other side. Comfort has never built greatness. Challenge has. And there is one habit that creates confidence more powerfully than anything else: keeping promises to yourself. When you say you'll wake up early, do it. When you promise to exercise, do it. When you commit to learning, follow through. Every promise you keep becomes proof that you can trust yourself. Every broken promise quietly weakens your self-belief. Confidence is not built in one dramatic moment. It is built through thousands of private victories that no one else sees. Discipline creates those victories, not motivation, not inspiration. Discipline because motivation changes with your emotions. Discipline remains when emotions disappear. Remember this. The goal is not to become fearless. The goal is to become stronger than your fear. When you trust yourself, protect your standards, and continue moving forward, despite uncertainty, you become the kind of person that obstacles can slow down, but never stop. If this message changed your perspective, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. And always remember, the most dangerous confidence is not believing you will never fail. It is knowing that no failure can stop the person you have decided to become. Many people believe confidence is a feeling that appears before action. They wait for the perfect moment when fear disappears, uncertainty fades, and they finally feel ready. Unfortunately, that moment rarely comes. Confidence is not the starting point of success. It is the result of repeatedly taking action despite discomfort. Every meaningful achievement begins with uncertainty because no one starts as an expert. The people who appear naturally confident today were once beginners who chose to move forward even while doubting themselves. Action creates evidence, and evidence builds confidence. Imagine two people with the same goal. One spends months thinking, planning, and worrying about possible failure without ever taking the first step. The other begins immediately, makes mistakes, learns from them, and improves little by little. At first, neither person feels completely confident. The difference is that one person gains real experience, while the other collects only imagined fears. Each successful attempt, no matter how small, becomes proof that progress is possible. Over time, these small victories replace uncertainty with genuine self-belief. Fear often convinces people that they need more preparation before acting. While preparation is important, there comes a point when additional planning becomes another form of avoidance. The mind creates endless excuses because staying comfortable feels safer than risking failure. However, avoiding challenges never reduces fear. It usually strengthens it. Every opportunity ignored reinforces the belief that the challenge is too difficult. In contrast, every challenge faced weakens fear because reality is often less frightening than imagination. Confidence also grows through repetition. The first conversation with a stranger may feel uncomfortable. The first presentation may be filled with nervousness. The first business decision may seem overwhelming. Yet each repeated experience becomes more familiar. Skills improve, mistakes become lessons, and uncertainty gradually disappears. What once felt impossible eventually becomes routine because consistent action reshapes both ability and mindset. The strongest confidence is not built on positive thinking alone. It is built on proof earned through experience. When you repeatedly show yourself that you can face discomfort, solve problems, recover from setbacks, and continue moving forward, your trust in yourself becomes difficult to shake. Instead of waiting for confidence to arrive before acting, choose to act first. Your actions become the foundation upon which real confidence is built, transforming fear into experience and hesitation into lasting self-belief through consistent effort and courageous persistence. The most influential voice you will ever hear is not the one coming from other people. It is the one inside your own mind. Every day, you engage in an ongoing conversation with yourself, whether you notice it or not. Those thoughts shape your emotions, influence your decisions, and gradually become the beliefs that define your identity. If your inner dialogue is filled with doubt, criticism, and fear, it becomes difficult to act with confidence because your own mind is constantly working against you. On the other hand, when your internal voice becomes disciplined, honest, and encouraging, it strengthens your ability to face challenges with determination. Many people underestimate the power of repeated thoughts. A single negative thought may seem harmless, but when it is repeated every day, it begins to feel like truth. Statements such as, "I'm not good enough," "I'll probably fail," or "people are better than me," slowly become part of a person's identity. Eventually, these beliefs influence behavior. Someone who constantly tells themselves they cannot succeed often avoids opportunities, gives up quickly, or hesitates before taking action. In this way, the mind creates the very reality it fears by allowing negative beliefs to control decisions. Plastering your inner dialogue does not mean pretending that every situation is perfect or ignoring your weaknesses. Genuine confidence is built on honest self-talk rather than empty optimism. Instead of saying, "I will never fail," a stronger mindset says, "I can learn from failure." Instead of thinking, "I'm incapable," you remind yourself, "I haven't mastered this yet, but I can improve with consistent effort." These thoughts acknowledge challenges while reinforcing your ability to grow and adapt. Your inner dialogue is also shaped by your daily habits. The books you read, the people you spend time with, the content you consume, and the goals you pursue all influence the thoughts that repeat in your mind. Filling your life with positive influences and meaningful challenges makes it easier to replace limiting beliefs with constructive ones. Over time, these new patterns become automatic. The person you become is greatly influenced by the words you repeatedly speak to yourself. Every encouraging thought strengthens your courage, while every limiting belief weakens your potential. By consciously directing your inner dialogue toward growth, responsibility, and resilience, you build a mindset that supports confident action even when circumstances are uncertain, allowing your identity to be shaped by possibility instead of fear. One of the greatest obstacles to genuine confidence is the constant need for external validation. Many people unknowingly allow their self-worth to depend on the opinions, praise, or approval of others. They feel confident when they receive compliments, recognition, or acceptance, but the moment criticism appears or approval disappears, their confidence begins to collapse. This creates an unstable identity because it places personal value in the hands of people whose opinions constantly change. When your confidence depends on external approval, you surrender control of your emotional state to circumstances you cannot fully influence. Seeking validation is a natural human tendency, but it becomes harmful when it determines every important decision. Some people avoid speaking honestly because they fear rejection. Others hesitate to pursue ambitious goals because they worry about being judged or criticized. They begin making choices based on what will earn applause instead of what aligns with their values. Over time, this habit causes them to lose touch with their own identity because they become more focused on pleasing others than on becoming the person they truly want to be. Confident people think differently. They appreciate encouragement and constructive feedback, but they do not rely on it to define their worth. They understand that praise and criticism are both temporary. Some people will admire your choices, while others may disagree with them, regardless of how carefully you act. Instead of trying to satisfy everyone, they focus on living according to their principles, improving their skills, and maintaining integrity. Their confidence is rooted in character rather than popularity. Developing independence from external validation requires trusting your own judgment. This does not mean ignoring advice or believing you are always right. It means carefully considering feedback without allowing every opinion to reshape your identity. You become less concerned with being liked by everyone and more concerned with acting in ways that reflect honesty, discipline, and personal responsibility. This shift creates emotional stability because your confidence is no longer controlled by compliments or damaged by criticism. The strongest confidence grows from within. It comes from knowing you have acted according to your values, kept your promises to yourself, and continued moving forward even when no one was watching or applauding. When your self-worth is built on your own character instead of other people's approval, you become mentally resilient, emotionally independent, and far more difficult to discourage because your confidence is supported by inner conviction rather than temporary recognition. Here is the detailed explanation in the same style. Fear is often misunderstood as a warning to stop, but in reality, it is frequently a signal that you are standing at the edge of growth. Every meaningful achievement involves uncertainty because progress always requires stepping into unfamiliar territory. The people who appear fearless are not individuals who never experience fear. They simply refuse to let fear become the authority that makes their decisions. Instead of treating fear as an obstacle, they learn to use it as fuel that pushes them toward greater strength, experience, and confidence. Most people instinctively avoid situations that make them uncomfortable. They postpone difficult conversations, reject opportunities that seem challenging, or abandon ambitious goals because the possibility of failure feels overwhelming. Although this avoidance provides temporary relief, it quietly strengthens fear. Every challenge ignored teaches the mind that the situation is too dangerous to face. As a result, fear becomes larger while confidence becomes smaller. The comfort gained today often creates greater limitations tomorrow. The most confident individuals develop a different relationship with fear. When they feel nervous before giving a presentation, starting a business, learning a new skill, or making an important decision, they recognize those emotions as a natural part of growth rather than a reason to retreat. They understand that every successful person once stood in the same position, uncertain of the outcome, but willing to move forward anyway. Each courageous action provides valuable experience, and every experience reduces the power fear once held over them. Turning fear into fuel also requires changing the meaning you attach to uncomfortable emotions. Instead of thinking, "I'm afraid because I'm not capable," you begin thinking, "I'm afraid because this challenge matters and will help me grow." This simple shift transforms fear from an enemy into a guide. It reminds you that the greatest opportunities often exist beyond the boundaries of your comfort zone. Growth never happens by remaining where everything feels safe and familiar. It happens when you repeatedly choose progress over comfort, action over hesitation, and learning over perfection. Every time you confront a fear instead of avoiding it, you strengthen your resilience and expand your confidence. Over time, the challenges that once seemed impossible become ordinary because your courage has grown stronger than your doubts. Fear may continue to appear throughout your life, but when you learn to use it as motivation instead of allowing it to become an excuse, it becomes one of the greatest forces driving your personal growth and lasting confidence. Here is the detailed explanation in the same style. Confidence often rises and falls with emotions, but discipline remains steady regardless of how you feel. Many people wait until they feel motivated before taking action. They exercise only when they feel energetic, study only when they feel inspired, and pursue their goals only when they are in the right mood. The problem with this approach is that emotions are temporary and constantly changing. Some days you will feel excited, while other days you will feel tired, discouraged, or distracted. If your progress depends entirely on motivation, your results will always be inconsistent. Discipline, however, allows you to continue moving forward even when enthusiasm disappears. Discipline is built through small, repeated actions rather than dramatic moments of inspiration. Waking up on time, keeping your commitments, practicing your skills every day, and following through on responsibilities may seem ordinary, but these habits create extraordinary results over time. Every time you do what you promised yourself you would do, you strengthen your self-control. These repeated victories become evidence that you can rely on yourself regardless of external circumstances. One of the greatest benefits of discipline is that it reduces the influence of excuses. Fear, doubt, procrastination, and temporary discomfort lose much of their power when your actions are guided by routine instead of emotion. A disciplined person understands that progress is not determined by how they feel today, but by the choices they consistently make over weeks, months, and years. This mindset creates stability because success is no longer dependent on unpredictable emotions. Discipline also strengthens confidence by creating trust in yourself. Every completed task, every promise kept, and every challenge faced reinforces the belief that you are capable of following through. When difficulties arise, disciplined individuals do not panic because they have already trained themselves to act despite discomfort. Their confidence is rooted in experience rather than wishful thinking. They know they can depend on themselves because they've repeatedly proven it through action. Building unbreakable discipline does not require perfection. Everyone experiences setbacks, missed opportunities, and moments of weakness. What matters is the decision to return to your habits instead of abandoning them completely. Consistency always matters more than intensity. As disciplined actions accumulate, they shape your identity into someone who honors commitments, overcomes obstacles, and continues progressing regardless of circumstances. Over time, this unwavering commitment transforms temporary confidence into lasting inner strength that remains stable even when motivation, emotions, or external conditions begin to change. Here is the detailed explanation in the same style. The highest level of confidence is not built by compliments, achievements, or the opinions of other people. It is built through self-trust, and self-trust is earned by consistently keeping the promises you make to yourself. Every day you make small commitments, whether it is waking up at a certain time, exercising, learning a new skill, finishing an important task, or choosing discipline over comfort. Each time you follow through, you send a powerful message to your mind that your word has value. Over time, these repeated actions create a deep belief that you can rely on yourself, even when life becomes difficult. Many people unknowingly weaken their confidence by repeatedly breaking their own promises. They set goals with enthusiasm but abandon them when challenges appear. They promise themselves they will start tomorrow, only to delay again and again. While these broken commitments may seem insignificant, they slowly damage self-trust. The mind begins to expect inconsistencies because past actions have established that pattern. Eventually, doubt replaces confidence, not because the person lacks ability, but because they no longer believe they will follow through. Keeping promises to yourself does not require making dramatic changes overnight. In fact, confidence grows more effectively through small commitments that are honored consistently. If you decide to read for 20 minutes every day, complete that commitment. If you promise to exercise 3 times a week, protect that promise. If you commit to improving one skill every day, follow through even when motivation is absent. Every completed promise becomes another piece of evidence that you are dependable. These small victories accumulate until self-discipline becomes part of your identity. Self-trust also changes the way you respond to setbacks. People who believe in themselves are not those who never fail. They are those who know they can recover because they have repeatedly proven their resilience through consistent action. Temporary failure no longer destroys their confidence because their identity is rooted in reliability rather than perfection. They understand that one mistake does not erase months of disciplined effort. When your actions consistently match your intentions, your confidence becomes steady and resilient. You no longer need constant encouragement from others because your own history provides the proof you need. Every promise you keep strengthens your character, reinforces your discipline, and deepens your trust in yourself. That self-trust becomes the foundation of unshakable confidence, allowing you to face uncertainty, overcome obstacles, and pursue ambitious goals with the quiet certainty that you will continue showing up for yourself no matter what challenges appear.